So in my experience for myself as a musician and also as a piano tutor here at the Conservatoire for a number of years now, really the central premise for me was the idea of taking our music making from the practice room to the stage and what we do to bridge that gap. So we spend most of our lives practicing, and we spend a smaller proportion of that time actually performing. And when we're students, when we're training, that's something we really need to work on, because it's a different mindset when we're performing, really. So as I said, in my own experience, and then observing what happens with my students. So with my students, we can spend all year working on their repertoire and really polishing what they're doing, getting it to a really high standard. And then I witness them going onto stage and performing. And I can see for a proportion of students, this is something that we really need. This is a challenge for them. And I'm not seeing their full potential realised on the stage, whereas I can see it, if you like, behind the scenes in the practice room, in the teaching room. So that was my first fundamental reason for developing this programme, because having knowledge now of the Intelligent Behaviour Analytics, the IBA programme, I realised that that deep sense of self-understanding, that knowledge of who we are, why we are as we are, how we differ from other people, what lens they see the world through, that actually that knowledge has huge benefits in many areas of our lives and permeates all sorts of different aspects of our lives. And I had the hope and the belief that self-understanding would help musicians really reach their potential.
So the whole IBA framework actually sits on Eastern and Western thinking. So it's got quite a lot of substance in the way it's built, but it's actually sitting on an Indian proverb that was written many thousands of years ago. And it basically takes the view that everybody lives in 4 rooms. We all live in 4 rooms. We have a physical room, a mental room, an emotional room, and a spiritual room. And if we can actually access these rooms, even if just for a moment through the day, it can help us to become a whole person. And it can make us more effective. And what we found when we drew that kind of ancient thinking into modern thinking as well and merge it all together, that's how we were able to build that. And that's how we saw the confidence and resilient element take place and become real.
So yes, so we've walked our students through looking at how their life is balanced in the 4 rooms concept there. And it was interesting for me, the more we looked at the 4 rooms concept, to draw parallels in musicians' life as well. So we found that we can use those 4 rooms in our life as a musician, and we took students through their practice in terms of the 4 rooms. So asking them, in their time in practice, do you inhabit those 4 rooms? The mental, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. And it was interesting to find, I can think of a number of students, that was quite a revelatory experience for them to analyse their practice and realise most of their time was spent in the physical and the mental room. And not enough time in their practice was answering the question of, why are you playing? What are you trying to express? What are you trying to say? That fundamental questions of being an artist, really, and that communication. So that was a nice topic to cover with them. We've looked at aspects of why they're unique. We've looked at aspects of how to make decision making effectively. We've obviously gone into quite a lot of detail of different performance anxiety techniques. We did that more towards the end, middle and the end of the programme, when they had solid self-understanding. And it's at this point that we start to see jigsaw pieces falling into place and moments of light bulbs going on for students.
There were lots of light bulb moments there, weren't there, at that point, as we moved into those classrooms.
Absolutely.
Do you remember as well, we got quite a few quite animated responses from people, and there were some interesting reactions as they were just falling into place with it. Yeah, those are good memories.
But to give you a top line on some of the outcomes, one of the standout outcomes for me, bearing in mind we gather feedback, we're sending them a questionnaire at the end of the programme, and we are getting written feedback from students. So one student actually said that they are forever changed as a performer on stage, having taken part in this programme. Another student said it's one of, if not the most important packages of knowledge that they have gained during their education. So those two quotes for me particularly stand out.
They were quite dynamite, weren't they?
Yeah. And hugely gratifying, really. But to also see what students have put into this programme, the investment, not only their time, but their thoughts, their sharing of ideas, and their engagement. So in our questionnaire, it was a brilliant outcome for me to see that 100% of all students involved in the second pilot programme felt that they had higher levels of confidence and resilience having attended the programme. Yeah. They had greater self-understanding. Again, 100% of students felt they had greater understanding.
Now it's about taking it to the next stage, which is really making this open to all conservatoire students in a much more accessible way. And also, it brings us into where we're going with the Healthy Conservatoires Network, which probably is easy if you bring us up to speed with that.
Okay, so on the as we've been developing our two programmes over this pilot period, if you like, we were invited by Shirley Thompson, the interim principal at Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, to put together a case study and to see if this would be accepted by the Healthy Conservatoires Network. And we've done that, and it has been accepted. So the case study is live now on the Healthy Conservatoires Network. And it's a great organisation because this is specifically looking at areas of health and well-being across all conservatoires, and making sure we have this focus on the needs of our students, and promoting and encouraging all areas of new research and exciting programmes that are happening in the different conservatoires.
I was also interested in the similarities and the way the Healthy Conservatoires Network work, and they've expanded upon the 4 rooms, and they've gone into more components with that, albeit that's not something we're going to do, but it was interesting that they were looking at it from a true health perspective. So I thought that was really
and it's great to have, we've made this collaboration between the Conservatoire and our health education and life science faculty in what we've been doing, and it's also to participate in wider collaboration.
Exactly.
And that's what the Healthy Conservatoires Network stands for, really.
I think, yeah, and as an international organisation, that is actually going to give an opportunity for the way that this information, what we've created here, can be shared amongst a wider group of up-and-coming musicians.
Yeah.